I'm Ruby. This is Colin.
Hello.
I wish we just had like a really good 5 minutes. I wish you could have heard it.
All of the details of Expansion
Oh, no.
2 were just entirely revealed right there while the sound was off. Whoops.
It was awesome.
Man, can you believe?
Are a bad person. You are a bad human
I can't
being.
believe we're going there. Oh, my goodness.
Oh my gosh. You guys. Are you done?
Yep, moving on.
He's
All right.
like, nope. All right, so we have been just watching you guys play. We've been playing alongside you and having a really good time this week, watching everybody enjoy the updates, learn the new skills, learn the balance changes, glide everywhere. I mean, if there's like a 6-inch bump on the ground, I will see people leaping off of it and gliding. It's the best. So I don't know. What have you seen as far as reactions this week?
Yeah, it's been really good. I think it's been, I'm happy to see the reaction we had to this, these big quarterly updates. I think there's been some comparison to feature packs. Some people asking like, oh, well, this seems like it's more than just features, it's content too. And that's definitely, that's what you should expect. These updates every season will be big update moments for us, and I think this one is a really nice kickoff to that. When we started this year, we talked a lot about our strategy for Guild Wars 2 going forward is to do a lot less broad development. Don't work on tons of different features and different ways to experiment. We took the game to China and we went free to play and we did all these projects that were these huge sweeping projects in a lot of different directions. And really our goal from here is we have a bunch of really awesome game systems and a bunch of really cool things to do in our game. Let's just polish those and add a lot more great content to them. I think this quarterly update was kind of the first step towards that. So we've got gliding. Let's make sure that you can glide in as many places as possible. There's a whole bunch of updates in there for World versus World. It's really just kind of, the first kind of tiptoe in World versus World towards where we want to go. Obviously, these are content type polish when, the big things we want to do with World versus World in the future are a lot of back end stuff. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up already for the rest of this quarter. On top of this quarterly update, we have the next PvP season, season 2, and a ton of changes to that that are really off of a lot of player feedback we've got.
Finals are coming up too.
Pro League season championship with the new balance update. So that's going to be really fun to see how that plays out. Top 4 teams in the world are live all in one place, which means not only some great Guild Wars 2 PvP, but lots of fun community stories that will come out of that. Probably lots of drinking. We don't condone it.
I was like, are we gonna talk about that?
Maybe a broken arm or two.
No
shots
more broken
fired.
Bones, no arm wrestling.
It should be really fun to see. This is a chance where we get to see who's better in North America or Europe. And I think every time those teams have gotten together, we've had some really big surprises. Many of our best games have been at these LAN World Championships, and I think the new balance patch hopefully should move us past kind of a little bit more of a stale meta into a more exciting meta with more deaths, a lot more action. So I can't wait to see what that finals is like. And the in-game league season with all the updates the PvP team has already announced. That's, again, going back to that strategy of let's ship things and let's just polish and make those things better. Yeah. We ship PvP leagues, and our focus now is let's just make those really great. And I think the next season is really expanding on that. We've got a new raid that you'll see this quarter, and new raid wing rather, and that'll be really exciting for folks to look forward to.
I'm so excited to talk about this one.
Yeah.
And we've been planning stuff for the upcoming raid wing this week, so it's on my mind. And
yeah, I saw Crystal put a tweet out the other day that got everybody talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's coming. Yeah,
it's going to be good, you guys.
There's some really fun stuff in there. Lunar New Year's going on right now, so we've got that event live in game. And later this year, I think our hope would be that each quarter we start to build a little bit more, and there's both a really awesome update at the beginning of each one, a big seasonal update, and there's a little bit more stuff also mixed in to look forward to on top of that. Certainly we'll have a few surprises of stuff we haven't talked about yet mixed in there too. One of the big focuses we've been looking at for our next big update, our spring update, is actually really trying to build on this concept of polishing and iterating on the things that we've already released. I think Heart of Thorns is an area where we put it out, we gave our teams, we set aside a bunch of time to respond to issues and stuff that players brought up. And then we left on Christmas break, and we came back from break and we had a whole lot of feedback to take a look at. The bulk of that is not stuff that we really had time to get in time for our winter update. The winter update went out on Tuesday, which means usually it's locked down 2 or 3 weeks before that. So we came back from Christmas and pretty much everything was
Everything
more or
was
less
set.
ready to go,
Yeah.
or as close as it could be. So the spring update is really our next chance to address a huge amount of feedback from Heart of Thorns. There's a bunch of stuff in there that I think we're really proud of. It has some of the coolest moments of bringing players together in the open world I think we've ever done in the game. I think the sense of challenge in the open world was one of the big things that we wanted to provide. Bring some of the creatures up so you actually had to use your skill bar and dodge and
Yes.
think about the skills that the game provided, as opposed to some of the creatures in the open world in kind of vanilla Guild Wars where you can get away with maybe using one or two skills and beating a lot of them. We really wanted to let you at least have more of a sense of a challenge and use the action combat system more. I think there's some things in HOT in general that we didn't quite hit our goals on. I think one of our big goals is you should be able to play in short periods of time and make meaningful progress.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I think that's a big tenet of Guild Wars 2. You should be able to log in, and in 20 minutes and 40 minutes, you should be able to achieve a bunch of goals, feel like you made meaningful progress, and get rewarded for it. I think there are parts of some of the stuff we did with Heart of Thorns that allows you to do that. There are other areas where I think that's not true, and I think that's a big area that we're going to take a look at, is trying to make keep the things that we really like about the expansion and the things in particular in the open world that were really successful, the really awesome moments, while also trying to make it more accessible. I think there's some things that ended up more grindy than I would say that it is within the kind of what we want to do with
That's
the game.
fair. Yeah.
And so in retrospect, now that we've had time to really look at some metrics and how much time it takes to earn some of the things and to get your masteries, we're going to take an opportunity to go back and look at a lot of that stuff as well. There's a bunch of just general stuff. I think some of the items for scribing ended up being more expensive than we ever thought they'd be. And we've already announced that we're going to take a look at that, but we're definitely working on that one. There's some things floating out there that we just haven't finished. The fractal backpack is one that we just need to finish that and put it out. And so some stuff we're just going to get done even before the big spring update. Like there's a few things that if we finish them, we'll just get them out as soon as they're ready. But I think the big theme to look forward to for the spring update is basically getting the game in a state where all of the kind of big open questions or discussions that players are having, or things from Heart of Thorns in particular that didn't quite align with what our core philosophies for Guild Wars 2 are. Now in retrospect, we've really built a giant list of those things, and we're going to go back and try to resolve as many of them. There's a pretty huge chunk. We're going to resolve as many of them in that update as we can. And that puts us in a place where from there we can really start moving into, let's just build a lot of awesome new content. We can start moving out and building new fractals and building more, living world, and building just great new stuff to play. So that's kind of the big things that you have to look forward to as we move on. And I think one more big update that's pretty exciting is we said at the beginning of the year, World versus World Resurgence is a name that you will be hearing soon enough. World versus World's big update is something that we didn't think we would talk about probably until later this year. Things are going really well on that, and it looks like we're going to be able to talk about the details of that much earlier than we had originally thought.
Awesome.
And I will let John Corpening and the World versus World folks take it from there. But I think the team is doing a really awesome job, and they're definitely in a place where we can start talking more here soon than maybe we had originally thought.
Yeah.
So that's something else to look forward to as well for World versus World players.
Yeah. It's been great to see all of those updates in this last patch.
Yeah.
All of those little World versus World fixes. It's nice starting on that path.
Yeah, I think it's really great for them to have the opportunity to just sit down and say, hey, what are all the places where people are able to jump over walls or exploiting or this little map bug? Let's resolve all of these issues. There's a huge chunk of them already done. Be able to do just general balance. Like the team's really getting the front end team, the folks who are handling the content side, are getting a lot of time to do that. While this new larger back end team is working on all the restructuring as well.
Yeah.
So I think the two of those will go really well hand in hand to get World versus World in the long run where we want it to be. Obviously, this is something where I think if you're a big World versus World fan, you'd like all this stuff to be happening faster. The reality is, effectively, in a lot of ways, they're rebuilding a game mode from scratch that took 5 years to build the first time. We're going a heck of a lot faster. Don't worry.
Yes.
It's not a 5-year project. But it is still, it's a huge lift,
I'm
right?
always when I hear that.
I think back to when we shipped the game, there was player culling in the game. And so you'd play in World versus World and you could only see a small amount of players, and suddenly an invisible army would come over a hill and kill you. And it took an entire like year of work for one engineer who was one of our most senior engineers to actually fix that. You'll remember the invasion of LA where Carco were rolling invisibly everywhere and killing all of us. I certainly will remember that for the rest of my life.
Yes, I got murdered by nothing so many times.
Sometimes the amount of work that goes into these back-end, really deep engine and gameplay issues, they're really involved to get them right. And then once you do, it opens the system up for amazing things. And that's really, today that's all I'll say, and I'll let the folks on World vs. World kind of take it from there soon and talk more about what that actually means for them. But I think World vs. World players are going to be thrilled when they get the full rundown of what's going on.
Yeah, that's gonna be good to look forward to. So, for today, we are going to talk some more about the Shatterer, though.
Yes, there's some fantastic developers here to talk about the Shatterer.
Yeah, we're going to bring the Dancing Scarf Man in to take your seat. Sean's like, oh, man. I don't know if I'm glad I did that or not.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a look forward at this spring. It's going to be a really, really exciting spring. Polish, polish, polish.
Yep. And I think we have more hot fixes going out either today or tomorrow with some more issues, too. So just always stuff to look forward to.
Hot fixes.
Hot fixes, yes.
Yeah. We can you can't even say hot in this building anymore because somebody just groans like, oh, pun.
Okay.
It's like, no, man, it's actually called that. It's okay. All right, well, I will let you get back to work. Thank you for giving us a little update on Season 2.
Cool.
Update to spring.
Yeah.
We will be right back. And we are back. I am with 3 of the designers who worked on the Shatterer boss fight. I'm having trouble today, and all I'm drinking is water. This has been really hard. You watched me open it. I haven't left the room. It's just been one of those weeks. I'm going to blame part of it on staying up too late for the Shatterer fight, so I could get in on that. We're just going to kind of talk about how the update came to be and give you guys a behind-the-scenes look at what came into it. I'll start with you, Sean, and you guys just go down the line, introduce yourselves, and what you do here and what you did on the Shatterer fight.
All right, I'm Sean. I'm a game designer here at ArenaNet. For the Shatterer fight, what I did was work mostly on the new branded that spawned during the fight. A lot of the creatures we have in the old world follow a very predictable pattern where they will attack you once, wait 3 seconds, attack you again, wait 3 seconds, and it's kind of boring. So with Heart of Thorns, we made a lot of new monsters that are more interesting to fight, and I wanted to bring some of that into the Shatterer fight. So the 4 new branded that will spawn were what I was working on.
Nice. McKenna?
Yeah, I'm McKenna. I'm also a game designer here. I worked on...
There you go.
Yeah. I worked on some of the achievements, or I worked with these guys, and I worked on the boss decorations, so including the Shatterer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm Andrew. I worked on most of the Shatterer skill changes, added some spawns that roam around and wreck your day.
Woohoo!
And I added the gliding and worked on the siege weapons, made them a little more user-friendly, I guess. Yes.
Thank you for that. And you worked on gliding for the Shatterer
Correct.
fight. Yeah, I don't want like Joel to come busting in here and
like,
kick the door
I am
down.
not a programmer. I wouldn't know what I was doing. No.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's kind of start by talking about how this came to be, because this was originally a much smaller project, and you said you feature scoped the hell out of it.
Well, one man's
thank you.
One man's feature creep is another man's iterative design, first of all. So
I would put that on a bumper sticker.
yeah. So it started out with we had a legendary journey that was blocked because part of the legendary journey was being put in a crystal, and the Shatterer was the only world boss in the game that could be permanently blinded. So he would reach out and be like, I'm gonna put you in that crystal, help you out with that legendary journey. And he couldn't because he was blind.
I heard about that once or twice.
Yeah, and then there was also some safe zones, as everybody knew, to his right or left, I guess, depending on
It was to his right.
Yeah. And everybody would just stand there and just kind of cheese the fight, for lack of better words.
Don't judge me.
And so those were the 2 big issues that we knew we wanted to fix. And there were simple fixes for that would have taken a couple days, maybe a week. But more fun fixes are doing crazy things like adding a break bar or, making it so you can fly over his head and throw bombs on him. And
that's the part I like.
Yeah, that's a good part. And that honestly only came around because when we got a release date, it was like, oh, you're going out in the big release the same time as Core Chariot Gliding. So it's like, Well,
Hey.
well, come on. Like, if you can fly over a dragon, you need to be able to drop something on him. So,
Right?
so
It's-
everything just kind of went together. We kind of broke everything up to like things we know we have to do, things that we think are really likely we'll be able to do, and then like our crazy dreams. And we actually, I think, got pretty much everything right. Like for the
Yeah.
most part. Yeah.
Awesome. So it's not one of the things that I've heard that we've talked about before was it's not like, okay, let's just take this fight and scale it up to turn it up to 12 and scale it up so it's crazy hard. The goal was more fun, not like insanely difficult, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You weren't just like, okay, multiply everything by a factor of 10 because
Right.
I've been told that's how programming works, but
Yeah,
Just
we
do your
we already have plenty of world bosses that are that you know
Mm-hmm.
mainly you need either a really organized map group or an organized guild group to beat. And since this is a 40 to 50 zone, we wanted it to be challenging. I mean, or we wanted there to be challenging aspects of it.
Yeah.
But we didn't want you to feel like, oh, there's not 50 people here. We might as well not even try. We're not going to beat him. So actually, just beating him isn't super difficult. Some of the achievements, on the other hand, are very difficult. Like breaking him right now is pretty difficult.
as far as we know, nobody's broken his break bar, right?
Yes, which is unfortunate because our fine animator Matt Tate made a very nice animation of him falling that I don't think anybody has seen yet.
You guys need to see this.
So we are looking into scaling issues with his break bar because people need to see that amazing artwork.
Yeah. Related, if you are in game and having trouble with this, I think it's valid to say that there are some people who just don't understand how the Defiance bar works, and that's okay. I've seen people, oh my gosh, you're too stupid to know the break. No, they're just kind of new. It's okay. You
Yeah.
can, if you're in game and it's a little bit wonky for you for how it works, you can always just type /wiki Defiance bar, and there's a really good explanation of how that works on our wiki. So that might be helpful,
Yeah.
but also looking at how it's scaling will be helpful.
Right, definitely. I believe I might be wrong on this, but I think this is the first time we've used it outside of a hot map. So there are
Really?
players who might not have played hot. This might be the first encounter with it. Is that true?
No, a lot of the champions in Corteria have break bars, but
Okay.
they all use
Okay.
the default one, which
Gotcha.
is pretty
Okay.
easy to
Okay.
break. And the Shatterer has his own custom break bar,
Right.
because he's a world boss. So
Okay. So it's
It's
First-
different. I mean, it's same
Yeah.
same mechanics, but
yeah. Yeah, I
probably
was
not used to
sitting here
having to
going,
do it
I
so
don't
quickly.
remember.
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the achievements, we were talking about how some of the achievements are really hard to get. I've just been looking at them, and they've served for me as a nice guide for, okay, okay, now I'm learning this part of the fight because I have to use all the siege weapons. How did you even get started figuring out, okay, what achievements do we want to put in here?
Yeah, that's definitely like what we looked at, right? Is we wanted to make sure that the achievements kind of guided players through how the fight works now and like all the new mechanics or whatever. So you can kind of look at it and be like, oh, there's gliding, and oh, he's gonna attack me while I'm gliding, or they're telling me to use siege. So if you used it before, maybe you didn't like read the blog post or anything and didn't know that we updated the siege or whatever.
Mhm.
Like this might tell you to go check it out again, and then you'll be like, oh, there are new skills,
I
like,
know
or
it.
it's more user friendly now, or it's easier to use. So that was kind of the main goal for like when we looked over the
Mhm.
achievements.
How's the siege changed?
So the mortars probably had the most noticeable change. Before they had a mechanic where you had one button to turn it this way, one
Mhm.
button to turn it this way. It turned ridiculously slow, and then
I
you had to
know.
hold the middle button to guess how far it was going to arc to
Yes.
hit things. And they actually, yeah, I seriously made it it's 4 times as fast, and it still feels pretty slow to me, honestly.
Wow.
So it was really slow. And they gave you things like a med kit that you could shoot at your. Well, it wasn't a med kit at the time. It was just a healing
Uh-huh.
barrage. How are you going to hit a running player? You have to. You're moving that slow. So
You're in map chat going, everybody stop.
yeah.
Hold on. It'll be fine.
So we changed the med kit skill so it still has a splash heal. It also applies protection because you're gonna want protection out there now. But it also leaves behind a med kit. So even if you don't hit an ally, and honestly, with how many people are out there, it's hard to not hit them right now.
Right. Yeah.
But if you miss them, they can still. Oh, there's a med kit over there, and you can go pick it up, and that
I'm
removes
saved.
conditions and heals them. It works like the engineer one, so it's useful.
Nice.
The turrets added a CC to the main attack, so you can work towards break bars. I increased the range on it, I believe, or maybe the speed it turned. They're
I
all
don't
better.
know.
Let me put it that way. They're definitely all better.
I was like, you're looking at me. I have no idea, man.
Yeah.
Betterer.
They're betterer.
Yes.
Like the
Awesome.
Shatterer.
Yes.
Betterer, Shatterer.
Shatterer.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna say it at some point. I'm gonna completely screw that up. So yeah, that was one of the achievements that I found super
Yeah.
helpful. What were some of the other ones that you put in there? I haven't completed any of them yet. So
Yeah, there's a siege. There's the ones that are like break
Still.
out of the crystals.
Mhm.
But yeah, just
What was the best one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
come
the
on, I was
best
waiting for the
one-
best one.
and obviously the best one is the one where he lands and then kills everyone, and
And you get an achievement, which
and you
takes
get
the
achievement.
sting out of being squashed.
yeah,
little bit.
because originally I like to run the world boss train, and I really like it happened on Jormag. Like I think it's cool. It's one of the kind of like ones I just remember really well, and then plus it's kind of trolly, and I'm a little bit of a troll, so it was a little bit. Yeah,
Well.
and so plus it's been really fun to see everyone in game like, yeah, I just got smushed, and like,
Yeah, I love
know,
that people
it's been
weren't
awesome.
like super mad about it.
Yeah.
And I was saying to McKenna while we were talking this over earlier, when I went in for the second Shatterer fight he'd gone through a couple of rounds by now, and immediately I got there and there's somebody tagged up with his commander tag standing on the hill going, stand here for the achievement.
Yeah.
This is where it is, they're helping each other make sure they get it. And then he moved. He was like, I don't want to get squashed twice, so this is the last call. Here's where you stand. I'm out.
Yeah. When I was doing the Shatterer, there's a commander standing there, and he's like, "Stand here for cookies."
Rude.
Yep. And then the Shatterer came, and
Yeah.
but
Were there
everyone
cookies?
still enjoyed it.
it's
Yeah.
it's always
I think they
goes
were the
over well
cookies.
as far as
Like,
smashing people is something
It's
can
good.
go.
Yep.
I know, it's kind of fun. So we have that on 2 of the Dragon Champions now.
Yeah.
And
And it was also kind of like a chance, because I was just like, I was talking to Andrew, I was like, oh, I really like the squishing one in Jormag, and then it was like, he just so happened to also always land on that one spot that
Yeah,
everyone
by
always
the
stood
ways.
before.
Oh,
So
the
it was-
safe zone suddenly isn't safe
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. So it was convenient too,
Yeah,
as
and
well.
I quite
making an
appreciate
achievement
it.
was also nice because if anybody didn't read anything and they didn't notice the launch pads for some reason and they didn't know there were any changes, well, first of all, Dragon's suddenly killing you. That's a change. And then you see an achievement pop up for it, and you're like, what? There's new Shatterer achievement. So it was kind of a way to tell people, like, hey, there's new stuff here.
Yeah.
In a hilarious way, for us at least.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope it's hilarious for them, but it's definitely hilarious for us.
So a few weeks before we announced this, I had forgotten to tell you guys this, but I'm just like skimming through our Twitter feed and seeing what people are saying, and somebody tweeted at us. It was something like, one of these days, the Shatterer is going to figure out how to turn his head to the right, and then
Yeah.
we're all screwed.
Yeah.
And I laughed so hard because I knew what was coming. I couldn't say anything. I was like, oh, golly, that would sure be a thing.
Yeah, I think that was on like Reddit a few weeks before we
Yeah,
even
I've
said
seen it.
anything
I've
about
seen it here and
Shatterer.
there,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I read that too, and I was like, yes, little do
That
they
was-
know.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. The achievements have served as a good guide. Okay, I'm trying to get this achievement.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, now I know how to do this part of the fight. And then you have the overall meta. Some of them, at least one, involves gliding, but you don't need that. That was the thing, balancing for people who didn't have their gliding mastery yet for whatever reason, or didn't have Heart of Thorns at all.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to leave them out.
Yeah, we purposely want to make sure you could get the back piece if you didn't have hot, because it's not in a hot map, right? So,
Yeah.
but we wanted to include it in there because it's still really cool to glide, and it's we're like, we want you to glide. It feels awesome. And so we left that in there, but you only need you can get all the other achievements and leave out the gliding one and still get the back piece. So
You're not completely left out.
you're not missing anything, or you're
Nice.
not on.
Well, I mean,
For-
you're missing.
Yeah, you're missing
gliding.
the awesomeness of gliding,
And dropping bombs on the
It's
Shatterer's
true.
head.
yeah.
Yeah. What are the? I know there's a bomb and a med kit. What are the 3 gliding skills that you put in there? Isn't there a third one?
It's the bomb, medkit, and then a self heal because you can get hit by lightning up there.
I know.
Yeah. So we wanted to give you some way to heal yourself because the player heal skills aren't set to be able to use in
Yeah,
the
I know.
air.
Yeah, it turns
Okay.
out you can't ground target the sky.
Go figure.
Weird. Can you get on that? I'm gonna.
Still not a programmer.
Man, it's been like 15 minutes.
I
Come
know,
on.
I should probably get on that. C
Yeah.
plus whatever. I don't even know what we use for that.
Yeah.
None of you look at me. No. All right. So we got the gliding skills in. we got the bomb, we got the medkit and the self-heal, we got the achievements in, and we've given a little upgrade to the branded creatures on there too. Do we have new ones? I mean, it was a lot of running around screaming when I was doing it on behalf of everyone, so.
So I guess they're not brand new. I would probably call them variants. They use the existing models. There's the Rock Dog, Devourer, Minotaur, and Griffin. That's the other one. Of those two, like the Rock Dog and the Devourer are sort of like our mooks, and then the Minotaur and the Griffin are the more like elite guys. And they all have different things. Like the Devourer, instead of attacking you once every 3 seconds, he'll like do a barrage of attacks really quickly, and then there's a long cooldown where he's not really doing anything. So you'll kind of like put up a reflect shield and send them all back at his face and kill him that way, which is my favorite thing to do.
That's awesome.
My favorite one of the new guys is the Minotaur, because what he'll do is he just charges up this 2-second jump attack, and he leaps at you. And if he lands on you, he knocks you down for 10 seconds and just starts wailing on you while you're on the ground. And he doesn't stop. If you don't find some way to get him off of you, you're dead. I'm sorry.
He
I don't
just does
care
it
if
to
you're a
your
warrior
pulp.
and nomads. You're dead. But you can stun break out of it and run away. You can have your party break him, or you can just dodge the initial jump attack. Those are all good counters. But overall, I think creatures like that are far more interesting to fight than the sort of traditional monsters we have in the core world.
Yeah, I will say thank you for not making just a 10-second KD that you can't do anything about, because
those aren't fun.
that's not fun. That's the inverse of no. So you can stun break out of that, but I think after you told me that, I kind of want to go find one and just poke at him, because I just want to see this, and I'm willing to be pulped in the interest of this. So
it's a good cause for pulping.
It is. So what's the other elite guy? Which one?
So the Griffin was in the Shatterer fight before, but he would fly around all the time, and there wasn't basically any way to get him to stop flying. So
I'm stuck.
Now that we have break bars, I put a break bar on the Griffin, and when you break him, he'll land. And then because of that, I made the skills when he's in the air more powerful. So if you break him and force him on the ground, he's easier to fight, but then after a while, he'll take off and start flying again. So as long as he's up in the air, he's more of a threat.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to ask you to pick your favorite child, all of you. What's your favorite thing that you worked on in the new fight? Not in the history of everything.
In the fight, definitely the Minotaur. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's the achievement that
I knew it.
squishes everyone.
I'd probably have to say the flying mechanics in general. Ever since I used a glider, you know the Give a Mouse a Cookie book? I'm that mouse. So as soon as I could glide, I'm like, well, now I want to be able to bomb things, and now I want to be able to do this and that. So like giving people, the ability to do that, and the ability to heal things, because I was a monk and I love healing people.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yes. Anytime I can give somebody a heal skill, I'm all for it. But then also, like, I didn't want to create a new safe zone in the air because we were trying to fix a different one.
Yeah.
So
we're just going to move the safe zone.
The ways we deal with people flying around him, it's kind of like we put little warning crosshairs on you and you get zapped out of the air with lightning. Or my favorite, to answer your question in a very long way, is
it's fun.
When you're encased in a crystal, when you're flying around his head, you actually fall as a crystal, and then when you land, you are a bomb. You do AoE damage to the people below you, because it's still doing the crystal explosion skill, which, by the way, I made AoE. Watch out. So if you're up there, you will see your friends falling from the sky, and that's
Get
not
out of the
good.
way.
That's not good for anybody except the Shatterer.
Nobody likes that.
Yeah.
Ellie Staff 4, get out of the way. Just scoot backwards. Oh, man. All right, so we made it more fun. We have all of these cool new things, but if I can be a little bit mercenary, if I can be a lot bit mercenary, it's more rewarding, and I love it. There's more, you get more XP, and I am still leveling alts on way too many characters. But this has been a good fight just to gain a lot of XP, because the branded creatures give XP now, which you actually had to point out to me, because again, it was mostly just running around screaming when we were doing it and trying to figure out what was going on, and I didn't realize it didn't hit me until later. I was seeing like this flurry of yellow numbers, and thank you.
Yeah, there's also a good sized chunk of XP that you get in the chest when you beat him as well, that we added.
Yeah.
we definitely want people to be able to work towards their masteries. So giving them the avenue to do that in a fun way is always nice.
Yes. I love
What?
it.
You mean we want people to play stuff we put in the game? No.
Nah.
We don't do that.
Crazy.
I know it's crazy, but stay with me. We like people to play the content. I know it's nuts. Speaking of that chest, it doesn't look the same. It wasn't like the standard chest model.
Yeah, so
Tell me about it.
The decoration you get, which is the Shatterer crystal, I see people like it in chat. You use that in the guild hall to initially build a bronze statue, and then a silver statue, and then a gold statue. And the gold statue is the new chest that everyone gets to see. So you get to see what you get to work towards if you collect enough of those crystals. But they're all decorations along the way too. So you get awesome things to decorate your guild hall with.
So you can just have a room in your guild hall be like a trophy hall now.
Yeah.
Like, fill it with world bosses and raid bosses and like whatever else we
Yeah,
released.
exactly.
Heck yeah.
That'd be
and then
cool.
invite people over, and you're like, look at all the things.
Look at how awesome
at
our
this.
guild
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So I have the Shatterer crystal,
Mhm.
and then I know some of my guildies were pinging like a piece of Tequaddle's tail, like a tail chunk.
Yep, there's for Tequaddle, Triple Trouble, and then Shatterer are all the old world bosses, and then all the ones in Hot got it as well, and then the
Yeah.
raid bosses as
Yeah,
well.
so there's a lot of cool new stuff you can
Yeah.
put in there.
Yeah,
Did you do all those?
I did.
I didn't think to ask yesterday, so thank you.
Yes, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
All those.
So you start with, let's see, the bronze one is 10 crystals.
Yeah,
And everybody, the thing that I love is that everybody in the guild, it's not just like, okay, I got to kill Tequaddle 10 times and hope that I round up 10 crystals and then I'll put it in. Everybody in the guild can just go turn those in and it becomes a part of the guild horde.
yeah,
And once you have enough, so everybody help your guild out. Go kill Tequaddle and throw the thing in there.
yeah. There was also like an awesome post on Reddit yesterday of like people made the Gorseval tentacle stairway to heaven post
What?
or whatever. Yeah, they like
I
made
saw that.
they made a spiral staircase out of the Gorseval tentacles. That was pretty.
Yeah, they just stacked them up. It was like 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, it was
4.
actually really cool looking.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, Pennebaker was like, "That's gross," but it's cool at the same time, which was kind of my reaction to like, ugh, but
It
it's
is,
still awesome.
but you know
Yeah.
what? That's quite a trophy for your
Yeah.
guild. Look at all of these pieces.
Yeah,
It was Gorseval?
Yep.
Nice. Look
Yeah.
at all of these. I haven't seen this. Are they hands? Please tell me they're hands.
No, they're
The
like
thing that you chop off of Gorseval should be a hand.
they're all his like tentacle things that are on his back. Yeah, they're gross. They're like slimy looking too, and they like, yeah.
But
they're,
if you
they're
go-
gross looking in the as a decoration as well.
If you go to this one guild hall, you can climb all over them.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
All right, I have one last question for you guys. What is your favorite thing that you didn't work on? So you have to. You're sitting closest to me, so you have to go first. He's like, oh
Is
no.
this
Get
specific
it.
to the Shatter or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I really like when you get crystallized in midair and you just go.
You're a bomb.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
I like how we're all like, yeah, I really like the trolley stuff.
Yeah, I like when people die. No.
Trolley, challenging, fun. I mean,
They're all different words for the same thing.
right.
How about you, McKenna?
I actually like the new like Siege actually being cool again, because I remember I used it when the game like first came out, and actually everyone used to fight over Siege, like, no, I want to use the Siege. So every time I got it, I was like, I got the Siege. But also there's tons of guys that spawn over there now, which is like, I don't know, there's been plenty of times where I'm using it and I'm like, oh, I'm being attacked. I don't know, like,
We're fighting over Siege again now.
yeah,
So.
yeah.
The
I-
siege was pretty cool.
people lining up to use the Siege to like,
Yeah.
yeah, because everyone's trying to get the achievements, right? So
Yeah.
everyone's like, we're taking turns, guys. I don't know. It's funny to me, and it feels, I'm glad that they feel good again.
I like it. Was that you telling me there was like a big line for the
Yeah.
Siege?
When I was doing the Shatterer that first day, and everyone was trying to get the achievements, they just sort of lined up one after another, and one person would just sit there shooting the mortar until they got the achievement, and then they'd get off, and the next person in line would go up, and they'd shoot the mortar until they got the achievement, and it was just like, form an orderly line, everyone will get their share.
That's a good way to do it. Thank you guys for not being awful about it.
Yeah.
There's some fine queuing.
That is some fine queuing. How about you, Andrew?
I'd say it'd have to be a tie between the smashing people achievement and I really like the dive bombing griffin. I don't know why. It's just it looks cool. It's fun. It feels rewarding when you break them. and the Minotaur, though.
Yeah,
The Minotaur
man,
is amazing.
It's
I
really
can't
a
wait.
toss-up.
I was gonna say actually.
I
now that
like
think
the
about it,
Minotaur
might
when
be
I
the
see it
Minotaur.
jump on someone else.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. When it
Less
jumps
fun
on
when it's
me,
you.
maybe not so much.
Nice. This has been like the say nice things about your coworkers minute. I wanted to add that, but not give you too much time to think
Sean's
about
also a fine dancer, as we all saw.
it. Sean
Yeah.
is a fine dancer. It's very impressive. I'm not going to make you do it again because you're actually tethered, and you will clothesline yourself if you try to get up.
Yeah.
So, all right, that is our behind-the-scenes look at the Shatterer. Is there anything else you guys want to add about the work you did? You really can. It's okay.
No, go play it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
play
go
it.
play it.
Go play it works. Thank you guys very, very much for taking a couple of little fixes and turning them into this. It's
problem.
appreciated. All right. Guys, we will be back next week. For now, go play the Shatterer.
Yay.